Hey, unruly subjects, it's Chinjirai, and I need your help to keep the show going strong. If you love what we do here, consider supporting us by joining our Patreon community. It's the best way to back the show, and you get some incredible benefits in return. Membership starts at just $5 a month. I mean, there's nothing that cheap, at least in New York. And you immediately get ad-free episodes and exclusive premium episodes. That includes interview outtakes and other extras you ain't gonna hear anywhere else. But that's not all. You can access the Unruly chat and polls. When we have a live event, you're gonna get the pre-sale tickets and the merch. Oh my God, the merch. You know the merch is gonna be fly. And you receive invitations to our Q&A live streams and, my favorite, our annual exclusive hangout with me, the producers, and a special guest. So yo, come on people, join the Unruly mob. Visit patreon.com/unrulysubjects. And thank you for making this show possible.
Hey y'all, you've been dropping these news Fiend episodes over on our Patreon feed. This is where I go a little deeper into some of the headlines. Sometimes I do short interviews with folks, stuff like that. We're sharing this on the main feed today to give you a taste of some of the content we're sharing with our Unruly members. And remember, you can access some of this stuff with the free subscription. So check it out.
News Fiend.
The first thing I'm watching this week has to do with the Supreme Court and the Voting Rights Act, and this really important case out of Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is about a third black. Y'all know that. You know what I mean? But for years, only one of its 6 congressional districts gave black voters a real shot at electing the candidates that they want. You know what I mean? That's because the way the maps have been drawn were racist. So black voters and civil rights groups sued under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, arguing that the map diluted black political power. And I think in August, the lower court agreed and ordered a new map. You know what I mean? That was a victory. You know what I'm saying? But of course, anytime there's a victory for black political power, there has to be a backlash in America. So, we got this case where these right-wing plaintiffs are challenging it now, right? And the case is called Louisiana v. Callais, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court could have just ruled on that specific case, but instead, now they're actually questioning Section 2 itself, which was the part of the Voting Rights Act that allowed black voters to win this case. And y'all, this is wild because depending on how they rule, they're really trying to gut the Voting Rights Act. It's questionable whether the U.S. is a democracy now, but before the Voting Rights Act, U.S. was straight up apartheid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is a really big case and I'm following it and y'all should too. Another thing I'm looking at is an update on a story we covered last week having to do with Afghan CIA units, right? And this whole problem of outsourced war. I saw a great piece in NPR about Afghan fighters who were part of these CIA-backed Zero units during the war in Afghanistan. These are folks that the U.S. used for some of the most dangerous raids and killing. Basically, they were able to do really horrible things, but they kept U.S. soldiers away from all that bloodshed. After the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan, a lot of these people came to the U.S. and they were promised safety, but they struggling, you know what I mean? They struggling to find work. They obviously are dealing with real trauma and guilt because they did horrible things. And what we're learning is that this shooter who shot those National Guard members was not alone. See, they want you to think that this was an isolated incident, but actually it's a bunch of those folks, and a lot of them have committed suicide, you know what I'm saying? So we can't treat this stuff as like these individual random events. These are the costs of outsourced imperialism. You know what I mean? The trauma doesn't stay over there, it comes back. Broken lives, suicides, violence here. And we can condemn what happened, but also look at that system that produced it. It's really important. Here's another thing that's been on my mind for a while: AI and data centers. When you hear people talk about AI, a lot of times they're talking about plagiarism or de-skilling, or how it's stealing art. And what it means for like professors and universities. That's big in my world. And all those are real questions. But meanwhile, more than 200 environmental community groups just sent a letter to Congress calling for a national moratorium, a freeze on new data centers until they can come up with some real rules to protect communities, water, and energy systems. And that letter is pointing out that if data centers triple in the next 5 years, they could suck up as much electricity as around 30 million households and as much water as about 18.5 million households use indoors. just to keep these machines cool. And a lot of that power is still fossil fuel based, while people living near these facilities are like seeing higher electricity bills, all kinds of things. So for me, right, if we're talking about AI, we can't just talk about individual use. Are you a bad person if you open ChatGPT or one of these other platforms, right? We obviously should think critically about that, but the environmental movement has taught us that if we only focus on individual consumption, we miss the larger structural damage being done by corporations, the Pentagon, cops, universities, banks. So I'm interested in what a structural strategy against harmful AI looks like. And I know there's a lot of people organizing around that. If you are in that fight, I would love to talk to you, you know what I'm saying? So we can all learn more. 215-436-9212. The last thing I want to highlight real quick has to do with Spotify. If y'all follow me on socials, you might have seen that I recently canceled my Spotify subscription. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, look, I know I shouldn't applaud because I should have did this a long time ago. We all know Spotify is horrible to artists, you know what I mean, in terms of like how it treats them. But it gets deeper than that because Spotify's CEO Daniel Ek has poured hundreds of millions of euros into a military AI company called Helsing, right? They're a defense firm building AI systems for battlefield targeting, making, weapons, platforms, drones, and all this other stuff. And on top of that, Spotify is now running recruitment ads for ICE, right? So this year, you know what I'm saying, while everybody's out there posting their Spotify Wrapped, end of year thing, a coalition of groups launched something called the Spotify Unwrapped campaign, basically saying like, yo, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? We need to get off this platform. So nobody loves music more than me, you know what I'm saying? But it just is time, y'all. And I invite y'all to join me. There's too many other ways for us to get the music and podcasts that we like. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, we may have more to say about that. Unruly Subjects is supported by listeners just like you. Join us at patreon.com/unrulysubjects.